everybody. I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to Board Game Breakfast. This is the first Board Game Breakfast of the year. Happy New Year, by the way, and we're very excited about it. This is a big month for us here at the Dice Tower, mostly because this is the month that we run our annual Kickstarter. And if you watch nothing else in this video, I would encourage you to go to the Tom Thinks segment, which is going to be directly after this. I'll move it up to the front this time because our Kickstarter is an important thing and it helps keep the Dice Tower going each time. That being said, I hope you enjoyed the live role-playing game that we did this past Friday. If you missed that, that was one of the things from our Kickstarter last year. And we got some other things coming up. Not this week, but the following week, we're going to be doing a live gaming marathon. We do this annually, a 30-hour marathon. It actually takes place over 36 hours, but we take two 3-hour breaks in there for a few meals just to kind of break things down. But we got several of our contributors from the Dice Tower are going to be showing up and playing games. We'll have all variety of games, from party games to bigger, grandiose type games. So we hope that you enjoy that. And that's going to be next Thursday and Friday. So hopefully you enjoy that on the 11th and 12th. So that's all stuff that's coming up in the future. But for right now, before we do anything else, let's get to Tom Thinks. Folks, I really hope that you enjoy the Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is a lot of things. Our main thing that we are is a video show and an audio podcast. You're watching Board Game Breakfast, so you may not even know about the podcast, but the podcast is where a lot of this began. The podcast that Eric Summer, Mandy Hutchinson, Suzanne Sheldon, and I put on, and we try to put that out, I'd say about 50 weeks out of a year. There's a weekly podcast for you to listen to. There's also this YouTube channel itself, where we have our Board Game Breakfast show each week, week in review, and a ton of reviews. In fact, last year we put out 2,300 videos, and so I hope that you enjoy a lot of these videos. My goal is to never make any of this cost anything. However, for it to not cost anything, each year we do a annual pledge run. I don't like to ask for money all year round, so I do it one time a year, and that's in January each year. And that's going to be starting this Thursday on Kickstarter. If you've never used Kickstarter before, we talk about it all the time in this show. We talk about how Kickstarter, you can go kickstart games. Well, you can kickstart our podcast. So if you did it last year, if you fundraised it with us last year, we used Indiegogo, but for several reasons we moved back to Kickstarter this year. But you go to Kickstarter and you donate to the Dice Tower. You pick a certain amount and donate. And for different levels of donating, we have gifts. These gifts are definitely not worth your while for the amount you pay, for sure. But what we are asking you to do is you say, what was the Dice Tower worth to you in 2017? Or what will it be worth to you in 2018? And donate that much, and then we give you a gift to say thank you from our end. Again, we put a lot of work, and I hope over the last year, despite some of the setbacks that happened, I hope that you've seen a steady improvement in both the look and the sound of our videos. And in fact, I'm really excited because we have some ideas and ways that this year we're going to be working on making our sound and our lighting even better. So if you donate to the Dice Tower Kickstarter, where does that go? What does that do? Well, it pays my, Sam, Z, our video editors, salaries. We also have a few part-time people that do different things for the Dice Tower. It pays for new equipment. Now, this year, we will hopefully not need to buy as much equipment as we did last year or need to buy new stuff for a studio, but that's another thing we pay for, the studio and the bills that come along with the studio, lighting and all that stuff. We pay for our travel when we go to different conventions to go and put these things on, and just there's a lot of other expenses that any business would have. The majority of the funding for the Dice Tower comes from you, the watcher, the listener, and many of you cannot afford to give us anything. We certainly understand that. That's not a problem. Our stuff is free for everybody, and we just ask that, hey, why not spread the word. Tell other people, in your Twitter feed or your Facebook. Tell other people about this. Pass the word along. But if you can donate, we ask that you consider doing so. We're not doing this to get rich. I promise we're not getting rich off of this. There's a lot of costs and fees, and Kickstarter takes 10% of the money that's raised. And we also, that we have to buy some of the supplies that go out to people. And there's just a lot of different expenses over the course of the year. But I am so excited about 2018. Each year, people are like, well, what's the next big thing? Last year we got the studio. Well, this year we want to build the studio. We want to make it even better. We've been like moving things around, cameras and lights. There's cameras and lights in here. We like to get those set up in permanent places so that we have 2 full-time studios that we're using. This way we can go live much more often, be able to do live stuff weekly, and even more, maybe twice a week. Constantly you'll see different live events be played. Well, you started seeing us do a little bit of that towards the end of last year, and I would like to continue doing that and to make that better. We also want to move into Twitch. Okay, we've been doing everything on YouTube. We want to continue doing on YouTube, but we also want to simulcast on Twitch and get a Twitch channel up and running, and that's one of the stretch goals of our campaign. And essentially, my goal this year is not to have more content. We already have a lot of content that's coming out. And we started a lot of different series, and there's a possibility that we'll start more series as the time comes by. But I want to make our content better. And I'm hoping that you see, go back to 2008, 10 years from just a few days ago from now is when we put out our first video. And I hope that you can see a vast difference between that video and this one. And I hope that in years to come, you will see a vast difference between the video we're doing now and what's coming out. And so, it's an awkward thing to sit here and say, please send us money so that we can continue. But, I feel like we need to put a value on our work, and so we do. And we hope that you agree. We hope that what, we put out is worth it to you. There's a lot of really cool things, too, that are coming into Kickstarter. We got custom dice and dice towers and promos for different games. And, so we're working on getting that ready. And so look for that to be launched at noon this coming Thursday. So I'll be doing a live Q&A during that exact time. I'll also be doing one later on today. So that way you can, join us and we'll see what happens. So hopefully you can join us. Hopefully 2018 is the best year ever. I cannot describe to you some of the cool ideas that we have. I can't even tell you some of them because we haven't got all the details worked out, but expansive convention coverage done in a better way, and also many more live plays here at the studio where you get to see games being played. We're hoping to do more and more of that. So anyhow, I don't want to belabor this point. I'll probably mention it briefly in each board game breakfast for the rest of this month, and then we're done with that. But if you want to do it, I want to say a big thank you to you. You guys keep us going, and we really appreciate that. And now, why are we doing all this? Well, that's what the rest of the show is, the content. And we'll start with the news. Okay, so first of all, Haba has announced their 2018 block of games. They 17 titles. A lot of them are kids' games, and so I'm just going to pick 4 of them that I thought were really interesting. First, there's Ikazu. This was one of the games I was excited about at Essen. I still haven't played it or even really seen it much, but the cover and the artwork of this game are beautiful. It is about hiding stones in some sort of grid, like hiding like gemstones or whatever. Really excited about this one. Then there's the Karuba card game, in which Karuba, very, very popular game. A lot of people really enjoy this game, so whenever that happens, there's usually a card game. But this one feels like there's a little bit more interaction, where you're going to be playing a pair of cards, and whoever plays the lowest value loses one. I'm not sure of all the rules, but I'm curious to see how this one pans out. Boom Bang Gold. This is a dexterity, some sort of game where you'll be tossing dynamite sticks into a box. I guess you're trying to blow up areas to find gold. So that, I like the theme of mining for gold with that dexterity element. Sounds fun. And then Rhino Hero Action. I really wish I knew more about this game, but this is the third now in the series of Rhino Hero, which was incredibly popular. Last year they came out with Super Rhino Battles. Now, Rhino Hero Action is a one versus all. One person is the hero versus the Spider Monkey gang. And I'm assuming are you stacking balls? I don't know what is exactly in this game. I've looked. I can't find any more information about it, but I'm looking forward to it coming out. Fantasy Flight Games has announced some expansion stuff for Star Wars Legion, General Veers, and the Snow Troopers. I do want to point out, I really like the packaging of this game. Those boxes look really well done. They look classy. And so we'll have to wait and see how popular this game becomes, but it's going to be released very soon. Portal has announced a whole pile of in-store event kits. They have a lot of different things coming out this year, especially a lot of expansions, an expansion for Robinson Crusoe, expansion for Alien Artifacts, expansions for their games. And stores will be able to get these expansions earlier than the release if you get these kits along with promos and stuff. AEG has announced several new games. One is Space Base. This is a dice management game from John Clare. John Clare has mostly worked on the card crafting games. Where you slide the cards in them. Mystic Vale, for example. This one, though, I like any game that has anything to do with dice, and I think his games are really well designed. Also, the Istanbul dice game. Another dice game based on Istanbul, a very popular Kenner spiel. So looking forward to that. Plan B has given out a lot more information about Century Eastern Wonders. Now, Century Spice Road came out last year. Very, very popular game. One of the most popular games of the year. And this game, which is a sequel to that, in fact, there's a way to combine them. And when I looked over it, I'm singing a little bit. I'm just going to wait till the games come out so I can tell you exactly how they combine. One, I think, leads into the other one. This one is more of a board game, although it still doesn't look like it's a complete board game with trading and things. But I'm sure a lot of people are excited about it. IDW tweeted a picture of their upcoming games. They didn't really officially announce them. They just put up a picture. So if you look at this picture, you can see a lot of different games in there. One of the ones that's closest to the front is X-Files. Everything is Connected from Matt Fantastic. And then there's that Sherlock. Man, what's that weird name on the bottom? Anyway, I think that's the Sherlock Holmes game, but still. Just look at that picture for clues. Asmodee acquired Purple Brain. Seems like it wouldn't be a week of news, right, if we didn't talk about Asmodee acquiring something. Purple Brain was previously working with Yellow. They're the folks who are behind the Tales and games like the Hare and Tortoise and all those little fairy tale games. And they actually did I think they did the reprint of Hare and Tortoise Around the World in 80 Days. So they will be now underneath the Asmodee umbrella. Cryptozoic has talked a little bit more about DC Spyfall. So Spyfall, a game that we all like a lot. This is the DC version, so locations like the Batcave and things like and the Daily Planet. However, there's a couple variants in here I like. There's instead of the spy, you're the Joker, which would make more sense, the Joker not knowing where he's at. But you can also play the variant with Harley Quinn, and she's one of the normal people, not the Joker, but trying to get the Joker to guess the location. They're trying to help the Joker win. However, if the Joker does guess the location, then everyone can guess who Harley Quinn is. So this is kind of a riff off of Resistance Avalon, but I like the idea. There's also going to be a deck of all Jokers, and there's a deck of Multiverse where everyone has a different card. So you have to figure that out, that you have different cards. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Finally, Ludonaut has announced the game Carta Impera Victora, or the initials CIV, which are coincidental in two ways. One, that it's a civilization game, and two, that there's 104 cards in the box, which is the Roman numeral CIV. So cute, but is the game any good? Well, Ludonaut puts out a lot of great games. This one is touting to be a civilization card game. Civilization card game sounds intriguing to me. That area already has several contenders in it. How will this one stand up? We'll have to wait and see. That's the regular news, folks. Let's now get to Kickstarter news.
Happy breakfast, everybody, and Happy New Year's. 2017 was a pretty great year for board gaming overall, and a pretty big year for board games on crowdfunding platforms, especially Kickstarter. And I suspect that 2018 is going to be even bigger. We've got just a few campaigns to take a look at today as the year gets rolling to a start, so let's get going. Chronicle X from Archon Studios is a miniatures game set in the 1980s centered around an alien invasion. After devastating losses, a band of human players teams up against an Overmind player to fight for control of the world. Each character has unique abilities and equipment and their own stat dial, and your combat abilities change as your stats do. They'll also be able to create new rooms like a med bay or comms room to take advantage of, along with support equipment that you might need. The modular board setup allows for different game setups that include terrain, searchable areas, and more. And the aliens have their own custom abilities, and the Overmind player can customize the alien invasion force. The strength of the aliens and the difficulty of the game increases as the game progresses, as players vie to be the first to complete their secret objective. Chronicle X has unlocked a ton of stretch goals, and you can get the game plus stretch goals for a pledge of $99 plus shipping. For any of you wargamers out there, Victory Point Games has Thunder in the East on Kickstarter. This is a hex encounter war game that focuses on the strategic and operational decisions both sides have to make in the battle for the Eastern Front. This is a true war game that highlights the move, fight, move mechanism, in which units qualify for special movement up front, and then general movement happens after the fight. Thunder in the East includes 6 big scenarios and a full campaign, and it's the first in a new series by Frank Chadwick. You can get a copy of Thunder in the East for a pledge of $99 plus shipping. And finally, the awkwardly spelled Dwarves Winter continues Vesuvius Media's Dwarves Fall series. Dwarves Winter is a competitive hand management and worker placement game with a touch of tower defense. And even though the game is competitive, you'll have to cooperate with your opponents to defend the castle from frost giants and other threats by using your deck of cards that represent your supporting characters. Allocate your action points wisely to move, attack higher, and play music, because bards rule. Dwarves Winter looks light and quick and includes charming miniatures for your dwarves and the monsters. You can get a copy of the game for a pledge of $50. Okay, that's all I've got for you this episode. Did anything catch your eye? And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful week.
Board games throughout history. Hello, I'm Chaz Marler from Pair of Dice Paradise, welcoming you to another installment of Board Games Throughout History, where we take a look at games that either had a significant impact on changing the course of human history or are just really, really old. Today's game originated in 16th century India, where it was a game designed to be a tool for teaching morality and spirituality known as Vaikuntapali. Vaikuntapali. Now, this game's board features ladders which players would climb as they learned the value of good deeds in their search for enlightenment. It also featured snakes, which demonstrated how various vices would cause the player to fall backwards in their journey towards peace and virtue. The game differed from other games from the region at the time, such as Pachisi, by demonstrating aspects of karma, destiny, and desire instead of just relying on a combination of skill, strategy, and luck. Well, the game flourished for a while, and several centuries later, in the late 1800s, the British discovered the game and brought it over to England under the name Snakes and Ladders. However, in the European version, the underlying concept of achieving divine spiritual ascension was replaced with achieving generic success. For example, in this version, ladders lead to virtues like thrift, penitence, and industry, while the snakes' slippery slopes lead to disgraces such as illness or poverty. Additionally, while the snakes outnumbered the ladders in the original Indian version of the game, equal numbers of the two became the norm under the English version. And then, several decades later, the game caught the eye of the American company Milton Bradley, reportedly Suzanne Sheldon's favorite board game publisher. Milton Bradley published the first commercially produced edition of the game in 1943 under the simplified name of Chutes and Ladders. And the name of the game isn't the only thing that Milton Bradley simplified. In this modern-day version, the game's original deeds of virtue and sin have been replaced by life lessons such as earning a snack for taking out the garbage, or that eating a full plate of cookies will lead to having fewer cookies to eat, which is an important life lesson. So there's a brief history of the game Vaikuntapali, and while the original Indian version of the game was conceived to teach lessons of spiritual morality, the primary lesson I take away from the modern American version is that any idea can be monetized if you approach it from the right angle. But which version of Chutes and Ladders resonates with you? And what soul-changing life lessons have you learned from board games? Let me know in the comments below.
So what's coming from the Dice Tower this week? Well, I'm going to be taking a look at several games. Noria is the big game of the week. I'll also be doing some comparisons between the new and the old Kingsburg and the new and the old When I Dream. And I'm going to be doing a few top 10 lists this week where I'll be talking about my favorite games from 5, 10, and 20 years ago. So hopefully you guys will enjoy the kind of those look backs and see what we think. And then several other games that we'll all be reviewing, different games from me, Z, and Sam. Eric and I will be publishing a podcast tomorrow, which is what I just said, the top 10 games from 5 years ago, 2013. So you can check that out. And of course, many other podcasts that you can find on DicetowerNetwork.com. So lots of cool things coming. Let's keep moving.
Hey gang, and welcome to Tantrum House HQ. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sarah Meadows, and today we've got Gekido from Simon in the red corner.
And we've got King of Tokyo from Yellow in the blue corner. King of Tokyo is a King of the Hill style dice game in which players act as giant monsters who are fighting for control of the city. Players roll oversized dice in order to attack each other, collect victory points, health, or energy that they can use to purchase powerful special attack cards. The first player to earn 20 victory points or be the last man standing wins.
Gekido is a dice game which pits players against each other in a bot battle arena. Players roll dice trying to achieve different poker combinations in order to attack their targets. Risk versus reward is the theme of this game, as the more difficult combinations wield more devastating attacks, but a failed roll will injure the player himself. Each space on the board also grants players an advantage and an equal disadvantage as they battle for ultimate dominance.
All right, so how do they stack up?
They're both player elimination and come in the same size box.
King of Tokyo takes about 30 to 45 minutes to play.
And Gekido's 45.
This one's 2 to 6 players.
And 2 to 4.
Mechanic-wise, King of Tokyo is basically Yahtzee, but with cool monsters on top.
Gekido has that plus board movement, risk versus reward, and the adrenaline mechanic where the more damage you take, the better you become.
King of Tokyo has some really cool cardboard standees, lots of chunky dice. It has those spinner scoreboard things, and then it has those Energon cubes.
But Gekido has already painted large minis that make an awesome table presence. Overall,
I enjoy the quickness and the fastness of King of Tokyo, and I find it less frustrating than Gekido.
And I love that you feel like you're in a bot battle just like in Big Hero 6.
That's how they stack up. Let us know how you think they throw down in the comments below, and then be sure to subscribe and follow us at tantrumhouse.com.
Hi, Mike Delisio from Solomode Games. First off, I'd like to wish everyone a happy and healthy new year, and I hope this upcoming year brings you everything that you are hoping for. Now, I don't normally do this in my own life, but I think I'm going to hop aboard the cliche train here and give my top 3 gaming resolutions for the upcoming year. Number 1, I would like to more carefully cultivate my game collection. For the last couple of years, I've probably been a little heavy on the acquisition end of things and have built up quite a collection of games. Now, what I've gotten better at over the years is understanding what I like and don't like, what will actually get played. And that's what I really want to focus on, is getting my collection down to games that are going to get played. And so what that means is that I'm probably going to have to get rid of some games that just aren't getting played very much. So keep that in mind. If you are a Board Game Geek user, take a look, because I very likely will be doing trades where I'm giving away multiple games to get one game that I think will get played. Number 2, I would like to improve my skills, my techniques at filming videos so that I can create better content. I know I'm never going to get to the level of many of my esteemed Dice Tower colleagues, but I would just like to get better at what I'm doing. I enjoy what I'm doing so much, but I want the end effort to show the amount of care and interest I'm putting into it. And then finally, I would like to design a game. Now, I don't expect it's going to get published, but I would like to go through the whole process, start to finish. Design, prototype, playtest, the whole 9. That would be something I'd love to do, just so I can feel like I've completed the process. So, there you have it, my 3 gaming resolutions for the upcoming year, 2018. Do you have any gaming resolutions? If so, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for your time, and have a great day.
Not showing anything about the game or a picture of it on the back of the box.
Hi everyone, my name is Dave Luza.
I'm Ilka Luza.
And Annabelle. Lisa, hello.
And we would love to wish you a great 2018, and we want to take this opportunity to show the games that we were playing this holiday season and will for at least another week, because we have vacation. The first game that we really love is...
Gotta come back, gotta come back, gotta come back.
Yes, we do.
Catacombs is a fun game, but Charterstone, which is great. It's great to play with the family because you get to name everything, put names on the cards and on the cities.
We enjoy finding names for the characters. It's a great game.
It really is. Charterstone.
My new favorite is... Yes.
La la la.
Yes, I really love Meeple Circus.
Yes.
But my other favorite is this one, an older one. Stefan Feld creation, Castles of Burgundy, Die Burgen von Burgund. A game where you make loads of points, and I love that. It's really great.
My next pick is...
Think 'em up. Think 'em up. Think 'em up.
No, not think 'em up. Number 9. Number 9 is so
Number
much fun.
9.
It's got Tetris-shaped tiles that you need to fit together and place tiles to make a building, kind of. We love number 9.
Number 9.
And the last game is really a family game. Yes.
We all love this game, all three of us. It's our name spelled backwards. That's why we love it so much.
That's not the only reason.
No, because my mother-in-law enjoys it, and that's a rare thing. So I really like it.
Yeah, it's really my mother said next time please bring that game, that one game. She doesn't play a lot of games, so that kind of tells you that Azul is a great game. It is great stuff. Thanks for watching. My name is Dave Luza.
I'm Ilka, and this is the very excited Bo. Have a great 2018. Bye.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hello everyone, my name's Annette, and you may know me as Netters Plays. And today on Apply Mechanics, I'm going to go over the game of Hanamakoji. Now this is a 2-player card game where you're trying to win over the geishas that are in the center of the table. So more or less, it's like an area control game. Let me show you a little bit more about this game and why I really like it. So here's the setup of Hanamakoji. The first thing you'll do is draw a card from the deck, add it to your hand, and then pick one of the 4 actions to do. One of the actions you can do is a secret card action. This will allow you to pick one of the cards from your hand and make it secret and scoreable at the end of the round. Another action you can do is a trade-off action, in which you'll select 2 of the cards from your hand that you will not score in the game. The third action you could do is a gift action, in which you'll pick 3 cards from your hand, and then you get to offer one of those cards to your opponent. The fourth action is the competition, in which you use 4 cards from your hand and you divide them into 2 sets. Your opponent will get to keep one and you keep the other. Once you finish all 4 actions, you reveal your secret card and place it where it belongs. So after you're done playing your 4 actions, then you'll end up scoring to see if you win over these geishas. You win the game if you've won over 4 geishas, or if you scored 11 or more charm points. The charm points are indicated by the value of the geisha at the top of that card. If no one wins the game, then you simply play another round. So as you can see, Hanamakoji is a fairly light and simple card game between 2 because you only have 4 actions to take every round. However, the important part is the order in which you take those actions and as well as your opponent. So there's a lot of tactical play, there's a lot of interesting decisions, and that's why I really like Hanamakoji. Well, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
So, something I know all of you have been wildly interested in has been literally, figuratively, imaginary, that's the word. Here are my top games from 2017, which on a personal note, was terrible. This first list are all reprints. Because, you know, I'm the master of my own fate and the captain of my own, you know, like, general area. Game 1, Heart of Crown. And if they support this, this game actually is going to completely replace Dominion for me because it's more fun. Okay, and yes, the box art suggests a Tonto Quoro kind of made in skimpy outfits feel, but the card art really isn't like that at all. And if anything, the box art does the game a disservice. So if you like deck builders at all, give it a shot. Game 2 is Habitats, which is a tile laying game where you've got to put tiles out to fulfill the quotas of animals' needs, because animals need different things, apparently. Everyone I've introduced this game to has done the same thing. They've gone into it with a forced look of sourness on their face because they think they're humouring me. And at the end of it, they're all shouting things like, "No! My slender snouted crocodile! He'll never be happy. Now he's sad and maybe dead." Okay. And my favourite reprint of 2017, or as I like to call it, 20 Idiot, is Lignum. Get out of here! This is Lignum, a game of forward planning and thinking and logging for some reason. Honestly, please check this out if you like heavier Euros. It's a brain workout for sure, but it's so satisfying. Like how I imagine it would be to succeed in real life or eat a particularly slippery ice cream. Bye!
That's it for another Board Game Breakfast. Once again, we'd like to encourage you this Thursday to come check us out and check out our Kickstarter. We encourage you to come watch. We'll be probably doing some live plays throughout this week and next week. So we hope that you enjoy those. And again, next week is our big gaming marathon. So hopefully you'll have fun watching that. Thank you so much. A big thanks to all my contributors. As always, they do a great job. Thanks for sticking with us in 2017. Here's hoping that 2018 is a fantastic year. Next week, I'll be talking about my predictions for 2018. But until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast on the Dice Tower. A huge Happy New Year to you all.